I went to a meeting of concerned citizens tonight. It was advertised as a strategy discussion to see how we might get the most value from a visit by James Hansen, who's coming to New Zealand in May next year. I didn't know much about James Hansen and still don't know a great deal, but clearly he's written some amazing books, and I don't remember the title of one. It was about the nightmares of our grandchildren, as I recall. I wasn't sure what I expected. It was more one of those invitations I'd responded to out of hunch. There were some good people being invited, and I felt I might be able to contribute in some way, perhaps by taking information and seeding it into some of those wonderful overlapping networks that seem to spread and cover this country. We had some good discussions about the visit, but the highlight, if you can call it that, came from Jeanette Fitzsimons, who's the past co-leader of the Green Party, recently retired, but not idle. She spoke about the energy direction that New Zealand is being taken down, if unknowingly, through a cooperation of influential parties in government and business, who are taking us on a path of digging up more coal. Significant amounts of coal, actually. There are plans afoot, and in fact they're quite well developed plans, and even have been announced on through the press releases of the websites of the likes of Solid Energy. They speak about extracting and utilising large volumes of very low-grade carbon-rich coal from mines in Southland.
So I want to share with you what is about to happen in New Zealand, which has got the potential eventually to double our greenhouse emissions. For the last 35 years, I've worked, among other things, quite intensively on energy efficiency and renewable energy. The climate doesn't see energy efficiency or renewable energy. It sees how much fossil energy is burned. So we all change our light bulbs and a few other things, and Huntly is shut down and New Zealand no longer needs any coal-fired electricity. Have we gained anything? Well, if I'm Don Elder, my whole job in life, my whole purpose in life is to get that coal out of the ground and use it for something. And that's why Don Elder right now has got plans to use that coal for a whole bunch of other things which are going to warm the atmosphere just as effectively as burning it in Huntly, because he knows that this is the way the world is going. It makes absolutely no difference to the climate whether we burn it this year or whether we burn it in 10 years' time. It's cumulatively the only thing that matters in the big picture is how much fossil fuel is left in the ground forever. In 20 years, we've got to go from today's coal consumption to zero consumption anywhere in the world by 2030. Now that, you would say, is an impossible ask. But the only thing that's more impossible than that, in my view, is having a world where my grandchildren can't survive and neither can yours. Where do we stand in relation to the rest of the world in terms of our carbon stocks? New Zealand has got a large amount of coal, not a large amount of oil. We used to have a large amount of gas, it's mostly up there now. We've got a bit left. But we do have a very large amount of coal. 80% of it is lignite in Southland, and it's hardly been touched. And it turns out that the economically recoverable coal is generally agreed with government figures to be 8.6 billion tonnes. Because it doesn't actually matter whether that 8.6 billion tonnes get used now, 10 years' time, 20 years' time, 30 years' time. If it gets used, then that is our contribution to global climate change.
This carbon has been safely locked away in the ground for, I don't know what the numbers are, millions of years. And it would be, if plans were to proceed, unlocked and dispersed into the atmosphere. So no matter what you do with coal, the end result is the same, as I understand it. The volume of carbon in the atmosphere is going to increase. Is this really a good idea? Given that there's widespread agreement that there's already too much carbon in the atmosphere, with the likelihood of climate change worsening, even if we were to all stop breathing tomorrow, the effects of what we've already done is going to result in further climate change. So wouldn't it be, as some learned people have suggested, better to leave the coal in the hole? Yeah, I'd be interested on your thoughts on that.